Hi, and welcome to another episode of Ask a Pharmacy Leader, Ask a Pharmacy Director with Fisayo. So, to build on my last video, I got some follow-up questions from that. I want to address some things I said in that video and just build on that. So, we're still on the topic of how to get into a hospital. I talked about networking in my first video. Let me expound a little bit more what I mean by networking. Yes, it is definitely reaching out to your peer groups, your colleagues, friends, all of that, classmates. It's that, the people you know, definitely. But I do networking beyond just that. I think networking is about really just whoever you come across, finding out what they know, who they know, and how that can benefit you possibly, or how you can benefit them. It's a two-way street. I'll give you an example. I've done this over the years, over and over again. When I was at undergrad at the great University of Texas, Hookham, I remember they just opened a pool in the athletic complex, and it was like the grand opening of the pool. And so we went out there, and I'm just in the pool, just enjoying, having a good time. And the dude next to me, I just started talking to the guy next to me. Turns out he is I want to say like associate dean. He ended up being like the associate dean of like the business school or something. And it was like, hey, if you ever need anything, reach out to me. He didn't have a card, obviously, but and I wasn't in the business school. I was in another college, but stuff like that. I'm the type of person that I talk to everybody. I don't care who you are. I'll talk to you, say hi. I'm just that person. Whether you're EVS, the janitor, or you're the CEO, I'll talk to you the same. And because you really still don't know what that person knows, who that person knows that could help you, or vice versa, regardless. It's just kind of the gift of gab, and that's just me. I'll give you another example. Years ago when I was staffing, I remember I was working nights, and this guy came into the pharmacy. I let him in, actually, and he was a consultant, and he was there to check out our IV room or something. I don't know. But after I just got his information and figured out okay, if I should let him in or not, we started talking, and just found out more about him, what he does, the company he works for. It's a company that if I were to say the name, it's people, you would probably recognize them. And so I was like, oh, okay, cool. Well, and I told him, that I was from Houston, and I think he was coming from Houston, and so we just connected. Asked him if they have any openings in Houston, things like that. It was like, hey, he doesn't, he's not sure, but he can connect me to people, blah blah blah. And so I reached out to him when I was ready to make that move, and he connected me to, I think, the VP of his company or something. And I actually didn't get a job through that connection, but I very easily could have. Networking. You don't know who someone knows. You don't know what someone knows. And you got to be able to really just talk to people, whoever it is. Even if you don't think you can get anything from them, you don't know who can help you, or who you could help, on the other hand. And so that's what I mean by networking. I can give you more examples of how I've used this in my career, or seen this work in my career, a lot of times when people find, you connect with other pharmacists, it's just that camaraderie, and that common bond and that common respect, pharmacist to pharmacist. And so a lot of times I found that people don't mind, telling you what they know, telling you about who they know, who they can connect you with, just because, again, we're all pharmacists at the end of the day, so I found that people are usually very friendly, very accommodating, and willing to help. So, again, networking. I promised that I was going to talk about how I actually got my first hospital position in this video, so here it is. It's very simple, but with the state of pharmacy the way it is now, if you happen to be in a place in a city that is saturated, where you're not able to, you haven't been able to get a job and things like that, go to where the jobs are. Supply and demand. If you're willing to, go get outside of, wherever you are and really just go, travel, relocate. If you're willing to do that, there are still positions available that need to be filled in different places. And so that is literally how I got my first job. I was applying originally, trying to get somewhere in Houston without a residency, without any experience, and I wasn't even getting calls at all, even for interviews, nothing. And so I widened my search. I was like, all right, fine. Dallas, San Antonio, Austin, applying to all those places, nothing. Then from there, I was like, all right, fine, anywhere in Texas, because I was licensed in Texas, so I still am licensed in Texas. And so that's literally how I got my first job. Supply and demand. Go to where the positions are. If they are not in your current location, and you're not easily able to get them in your current location, go to where they are. But a lot of people aren't willing to do this, and I actually don't fault them, because for some people it's easier than for others. If you're married, have kids, that type of thing, you can't just up and relocate, because you'd be affecting people other than just yourself. But if you're able to, I mean, that's always a route or an option that is very viable. And so relocating, for work, if you're willing to move, there's still jobs out there, guys. And so my next one is kind of tied to this last one of relocating, is use a recruiter. Find a pharmacy recruiter, someone that specifically recruits pharmacists and places them in companies. I actually, that's actually also how I got my first job, because I was applying, but I didn't know that I applied to a recruiter's post, and it was that recruiter that kind of in a way got me that position. So there's recruiters out there, pharmacy recruiters, who it's their job to fill positions. If you guys need a referral to one, I can connect you to the one that helped me get my first job. I'm still in contact with her. Amazing lady, and I've connected her to friends in the past before. But the thing about them, it's kind of like my first tip. They may not have positions where you are. They'll tell you where they have positions, and things like that. So yeah, use a recruiter. Use a pharmacy recruiter. Can definitely help. Anyway, drop a comment, like, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know your questions, whatever questions you guys may have for me. Drop it below, and I'll address it at some point. Thank you.